I also urge the examination centers to send us any queries on the results within a period of 21 working days so that we can attend to. In conclusion, Mama, I pray that God blesses His Excellency the President as he leads and guides this nation towards prosperity. And Mama, may God bless you as you support His Excellency the President and as you guide the Ministry of Education and Sports. May God bless the Uganda National Examinations Board. May God bless our Parliament, and may God bless our motherland, Uganda. Mama, thank you very much for your kind attention. I'm yours faithfully. We have prepared a small brochure, a fact sheet, which explains quite a bit in very, very good summary about the assessment of the competency-based curriculum. I think all the members who are here will have a copy and will make this available to the public. Thank you very much, Mama.
A big round of applause to Uneb, and a very big one to Mama, our team leader, and the rock on which we all anchor ourselves. Thank you very much for leading this sector very well. Apoyo Matek, Won Rudy, Apoyo Matek, Min Rudy, Uneb. Precisely, I'm saying thank you very much, Nalongo, thank you very much, Salongo, Uneb. At this moment in time, I would like to request the chairperson and the ED Uneb, accompanied by the ministers, the PS, and the honorable members of parliament, to present the results book to Mama. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. May I have the honor of inviting Dr. J.C. Muyingo, the Minister of State for Higher Education, to give some brief remarks, and thereafter invite Mama to address the nation and officially release the results.
Thank you very much, David. Mama, our team leader, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, my colleagues, the Honorable Ministers of State for Education and Sports, the Honorable Chairperson and the members of the Education and Sports Committee of Parliament, the Permanent Secretary and the staff of the Ministry, the Executive Director and the staff of Uganda National Examinations Board, the Executive Director, members of the press, Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Mama, today we are here for yet another exciting moment where we are making history in our quest to provide quality education. The release of the results of the first cohort of candidates who sat examinations under the new lower secondary school curriculum is one of the best things that has happened this year. Mama, when you rolled out this curriculum in 2020, there was a lot of uncertainty and many people wondered how it would be managed and assessed. But with God it is done. And today we celebrate a great achievement of a new curriculum successfully implemented and assessed. I am thrilled to report that the implementation of this curriculum has created a paradigm shift in the way our learners are guided through school. There has been a complete change from a content-based curriculum to one that enables our learners to acquire not the ability to recall facts as it has been, but to have competences that enable them be creative and solve problems in real life. Mama, I thank you for your vision and strong leadership that has enabled us as a sector to come this far. Despite the initial challenges that affected the rollout of the new lower secondary curriculum, such as COVID-19 pandemic, you remained steadfast. And indeed, we are here to reap the fruits of your determination to change the status quo and lead to a transformation. I want to thank the National Curriculum Development Center for the great work they did to ensure the curriculum was possible to implement and assess. Curriculum Development Center, thank you so much for the innovative ways you employed to ensure as many teachers as possible are trained to implement the curriculum, and we remain ever grateful for the sacrifices you made to ensure we are all successful. This is now the new breed of learners with the skills we have been yearning for. I thank Uneb for the corresponding innovations in assessment, and we cannot get tired of recognizing the excellency with which Uneb does its work. Uneb, thank you so much. We are grateful to the board for being very professional in whatever you do, and for always doing well what they are supposed to do. We thank you, Chairperson, Executive Director, and your team for a job well done. Thank you very much once again. Another hand clap for Uneb with a special way, really. This has not been very easy. Another hand clap for the Ministry of Education and Sports. Our permanent secretary and her technical team, congratulations and thank you very much. My colleagues, the ministers of state, I know you have been pushing from different angles. You've been monitoring, supervising. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Mama, with your permission, it's now my honor to invite you to address the nation and release the UCE examination results for 2024, where the whole country has been eagerly waiting for. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Miengo. Please sit down. My colleagues, honorable ministers of state, present here all today, the chairperson and members of the Education and Sports Committee of Parliament, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, and your team, the chairperson and members of the board, Uneb, the executive director, Uneb, and your team, the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must thank God so much today for this day that He has made. We have every reason to rejoice and be glad in it, as Uneb presents to us yet again results of 2 examinations done concurrently. I really thank the chairperson and the board of Uneb, the executive director and his team at the Uneb Secretariat for a very good job done. Yes, please give them a very loud clap. I recall that last year I released the UCE examination results on the 15th of February 2024. This time we are ready to release today on the 11th of February 2025. That we are a few days earlier must have meant a lot of dedication and hard work. I say again, thank you, Uneb, so much. Now, talking about hard work, it was reassuring to hear that even in this time of hectic business of developing the structures and processes for managing the continuous assessment and end-of-cycle examination under the new lower secondary curriculum, Uneb was also working on attaining of certification from the International Organization for Standardization, as you heard the chair of Uneb explain to us, for ISO 9001-2015 standard for quality management system. This should give further assurance to the public that Uneb is committed to observance of quality processes in executing its mandate. Yes, as we release the results for 2024 UCE candidates, we have candidates that sat examination of the new lower secondary curriculum, and the last cohort, as you heard, of candidates who sat UCE under the old lower secondary curriculum. That was a lot of work in this past year. The latter are the learners who had missed the 2023 UCE examination for various reasons, or those who had not made it and wanted to repeat the examination. This opportunity was provided, as you heard my colleagues explain. It was provided so that such learners were not disadvantaged. I am glad that as a ministry, we thought through this, and Uneb presented a proposal for a one-off UCE examination in 2024 for learners who had been using the previous lower secondary curriculum. So we thank God that we have the results to release today for the last UCE examination of the old lower secondary curriculum. As you heard, so I ask the selection committee now to ensure that the 2024 cohort of candidates who took the UCE examination under the old curriculum and qualify for post-UCE placement, that they will not be left out, by God's grace. For those learners who yet again did not avail themselves this last opportunity at UCE examination, under the previous lower secondary curriculum, I encourage them to look out for other opportunities of progression in education and training through the vocational pathway. You do not have to drop out of formal education at all. You can try again through this other pathway. So we praise God in a special way now that we are finally releasing the results of the first cohort of candidates under the new lower secondary curriculum. As I said earlier, this curriculum was rolled out in 2020. As you all know, the start was not smooth, as occasioned among other disruptions by COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, many people thought that this curriculum was something that government would soon drop. This perhaps explains why we kept getting reports that many schools were stuck in teaching the old curriculum. However, we remained steadfast in implementing the new lower secondary curriculum despite those hiccups, because the curriculum was designed to develop competencies in all the areas of learning. It was the best for our country and our plans for the future, using the head, the hands, and the heart. Learners who have gone through this curriculum have the ability for self-learning, as you heard from all the colleagues who spoke before me. I'm glad to hear from the Executive Director, Uneb, that, for instance, in science practical work candidates use a scenario and materials provided and plan their own investigations using the science process skills. The assessment tasks are geared towards solving problems in the real world. These are the citizens the country needs to be coming out of our education system now. They will contribute greatly to the realization of our national vision, which focuses on transformation from peasantry to modern and prosperous Uganda. To effectively assess competence-based learning, achievement of the learners was assessed at school level, and the continuous assessment scores, which now form part of the overall learners' UCE examination grade. This has reduced the impact of just a one-shot end of cycle examination. Combination of continuous assessment and end of cycle scores gives a holistic picture of the learner's achievement. We have seen it in the Executive Director's report, exemplified by the deaf candidates whose performance has significantly improved. I call on the professionalism of the teachers to ensure the integrity of the continuous assessment scores submitted to Uneb. This is very important because that's how we get the whole learning of any one of the students of the work they do throughout the year. Validity and reliability must be observed in generating these continuous assessment scores so that they reflect the true levels of achievement by the learner. I ask Uneb, within the resources available, to institute a robust training, monitoring, and evaluation system to ensure that schools comply with the guidelines issued on continuous assessment and project work assessment. I thank the National Curriculum Development Center for the hard work in putting the new lower secondary competence-based curriculum in place. I also want to thank the parents that provided input from a parent's perspective during the review of the final draft of the new lower secondary curriculum. Maybe we don't thank the parents enough but we must remember that they also have a role, and we don't forget to thank them. I call on the country to accept this change, which is for the better. I know that we have for a long time been used to aggregates and divisions, as you heard Mr. Odong say, leading to ranking of schools. This was always a source of very unethical practice by many schools to survive in the unhealthy competitions that had developed. Therefore, I'm happy to see that the NCDC and Uneb have now come up with a new approach that eliminates ranking candidates by divisions attained. Relatedly, I have also learned that the Office of Personal Data Protection has drawn Uneb to the provisions within the Data Protection and Privacy Act, Cap 97, that prohibits the publication of personal data of children. As such, Uneb has been informed by the Personal Data Protection Office, in quotes, that publicly disclosing the names, photographs, and individual grades of learners on boards or other publicly accessible platforms exposes such learners to harassment, stigma, and emotional distress. Accordingly, schools are advised now to use alternative methods of sharing examination outcomes without compromising student privacy by way of disclosing personal learner information or data. Therefore, I now task Uneb and all the other examination and assessment agencies under the Ministry of Education and Sports, together with the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports, to liaise with the Data Protection and Privacy Office for further appreciation of this guidance on how to fully comply with the Data Protection and Privacy Act and its regulations in the management of assessment and examination results. Thereafter, the Permanent Secretary shall formally communicate to all education institutions of learning by way of a circular on how to always ensure privacy of individual learners' results. For now, in keeping with the Data Protection and Privacy Act, Cap 97, and its regulations, schools and institutions of learning should desist from all forms of public display of individual learner academic results. Now, that said, I must send hearty congratulations to our learners who have had their places sealed in history as the first cohort to sit for the UCE examinations under the new lower secondary curriculum. That is competence-based and have qualified for the award of the certificate. I thank the teachers who guided them through the learner-centered teaching approach which this curriculum requires. I thank the parents again and guardians who supported the learners, especially in the project work. And once again, I thank Uneb Board, Secretariat, and all the people who participated in the assessment and scoring process of the 2024 USE examination. Lastly, I wish to inform all schools and the general public that the selection dates for the Senior 5 class of 2025 are the 20th to 21st Feb 2025. The first term reporting date for the Senior 5 class of 2025 is Monday, the 3rd March 2025. It is now my singular honor to release the 2024 USE results for both the last cohort of examinations under the previous lower secondary curriculum and the pioneer class under the new lower secondary curriculum. I thank you and God bless you. Thank you, Ministry of Education, Uneb, committee in Parliament, everybody related to this work. I thank you and God bless you.
Mama, with your permission, may I request that we resume our seats for a few minutes to receive a summary of your address in Luganda. And due to popular demand, I've been requested not to change the winning team. May I now invite Dr. Mugenyi to come and give the summary.